Alright, let's go. Another trade recap. We are back in US Open trading this time. We took a loss today. Price action was a bit weird. Off market open, it just dumped, took out these hourly lows, and then it ripped up and then dumped again back into this 5-minute fair value gap, which I was sort of waiting for, but I looked over at ES and saw from that rip up it had already taken out some hourly highs. So that sort of put me in like two mindsets where I could wait for it to come back into this fair value gap and then look for longs to target the NQ highs, or I also saw it as a bearish SMT where ES swept out these hourly highs and NASDAQ hasn't, creating that bearish SMT. So when that happened, I was looking for a retracement into this fair value gap here on NASDAQ, which we never got. So that idea was out of play. And then it was getting a bit late into the night, around 2ish. And we were sort of a bit iffy about this because it was a bit late and price had already dumped and pumped and then dumped again. But we ended up seeing a trade entry right here. We got our inverse fair value gap right here. We inverse this one as well, and then create a massive 5-minute fair value gap, came back down, fully filled it in, didn't close below it, so that was nice confirmation there. From there we look for a 1-minute break of structure to the upside, and we end up getting that right here. I entered here, and then the main thing that we got wrong was our stop loss placement. So since it was a bit late into the night, I didn't really want to risk too much because I was thinking to myself, if I have a big loss here, I won't be too happy because it's late into the session. Price action has been moving lots, but it's moved up heaps, down heaps, up heaps, and it's just sort of been going sideways. So I was like, I'm happy to take a small loss, but if I take a big loss here, I'll be a bit upset at myself. So we just put our stop loss behind this 1-minute fair value gap here and this 1-minute low where it filled it fully and then had a nice push out. So we just placed our stop loss there and it pretty much got hit instantly. However, our take profits did get hit later into the night, which I'm happy about. Our trade idea was correct, but the execution just wasn't on point, which is alright. I'd rather that than our trade be fully wrong and it just fully run short. So what I normally do is put my stop loss behind here, about 2 ticks behind this low here, and if I did do that, then our trade would have hit nicely and it would have nearly come to stop us out, but as you can see, it just didn't. Same here, nearly would have stopped us out, but it didn't again, and then from there it ran to full take profits. Probably better to show you guys on the 5-minute chart. Just spread this out. If we had our stop loss behind here, which I normally would, but I didn't want to risk as much tonight, then we would have hit full take profits, which I'm pretty happy about, and then it run heaps further anyway. So overall we lost on the night. We lost about $500 on each account across the 5 TraderFi accounts, so about $2,500 all up, but that's alright. Our losses are much smaller than our winners, which is the way you want to keep it, and you do that by having good risk to reward ratios and knowing when to put risk on the table and knowing when to de-risk. So overall we lost on the night, but I'm still happy with how it went because our trade idea was correct but the execution was just a bit off, and that's something that we can keep improving on and gets better as I trade more and more. So like, subscribe, follow all my other social media accounts, and stick around for the journey.